أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. You who believe, be mindful of Allah as is His due, and make sure you devote yourselves to Him to your dying moment. And Allah reminds us, يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. People, be mindful of your Lord, who created you from a single soul, and from it created its mate, and from the pair of them spread countless men and women far and wide. Be mindful of Allah, in whose name you make requests of one another. Beware of severing your ties of kinship. Allah is always watching over you. And He reminds us, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Believers, be mindful of Allah. Speak in a direct fashion and to good purpose. And He will put your deeds right for you, and He will forgive you your sins. Whoever obeys Allah and His Messenger will truly achieve a great triumph. Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought us a year through with our experiences, our good deeds, and our sins, and we are on the brink of entering the month of Ramadan, a month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prescribed certain things for us. And He says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. And in this ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a goal and an opportunity. It's an opportunity that we could squander. It's an opportunity we can squander. Or it's an opportunity that we could seize, that we would make our own, and that we could benefit from. You who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you. And who is this, those before you? These are people who were sent messages from and from Allah and through prophets in the past. And these prophets are the same in status, with the same message that Muhammad, the last prophet, received. So these are your brethren in belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every community that received messages from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the past, through the prophets sent to them, and those who obeyed the prophets, those who turned back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these are Muslims in exactly the same way you call yourself Muslims. This is a fundamental part of our tradition. Right? It's a fundamental understanding of the Quran that the way you call yourself Muslim, the way the Quran calls you, the believer in Muhammad and the believer in the Quran, and therefore the believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The believer in our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the one who believes in the Quran. The one who believes in the Quran believes in Allah. And this is the definition of Muslim. In the same way, the one who believed in Isa alayhi salam, the one who believed in Musa alayhi salam, and therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a Muslim. Right? So we understand this. But Allah is telling us in this ayah that He prescribed fasting to all of those communities before us. That is, the ones who are the followers of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the final prophet. So one has to ask this question, and I want to ask two questions that I would like us to deeply think about today. What is the secret of Ramadan? What is the secret of Ramadan? What is the secret of Ramadan? This is the question I would like you to ask, and I will give you what I think is the answer. But I'm sure your own experiences of past Ramadan, and inshallah this Ramadan itself, will give you additional insights. But I will share with you what I think is the secret of Ramadan. And then, what is the purpose of Ramadan? Allah has already answered in this ayah, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. What is the purpose of Ramadan? So that you may become one who has increased taqwa, increased awareness of Allah, closeness to Allah, love, the hubb of Allah, restraint on the things that He tells us to restrain ourselves from, doing the things that He tells us to do. All of this is captured in لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. And it's لَعَلَّكُمْ, it's not a guarantee here, right? And this is the important thing about the Arabic. It's لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. It's conditional. Conditioned on the state of your heart. Conditioned on the state of your obedience to Allah. Conditioned on the state of your humbleness in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it is possible to squander this time completely. It's possible to squander it. So we ask Allah that He guides us, He gives us the tawfiq, which is this capacity Allah gives us. And by the way, He gives it to all of us. It is tawfiq Allah gives us, and whether we take advantage of the tawfiq or not is your choice. It's your choice. He gives it to us all. So may Allah give us the wisdom to grab that tawfiq. And Allah continues, أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. Now it's interesting, Allah tells us the purpose of fasting لعلكم تتقون, and then immediately in the next ayah goes into this very specific details about the fasting. Fast for a specific number of days, but if one of you is ill or on a journey, on other days later. For those who can fast only with extreme difficulty, that is, they have a medical condition or other conditions that prevent fasting and that causes difficulty, there is a way to compensate. Feed a needy person. Allah is Ghafur Rahim, and Allah intends ease for us, and He tells you can feed a needy person. But if anyone does good of his own accord, but despite this, if you still insist on fasting, it is better for you. That is, if you have difficulty and you can take the difficulty, then it's better for you, do it. And fasting is better for you, if only you knew. And the ulama, talking about this, and our ulama are, of course, looking at this ayah, they deconstruct it. Our ulama say, if you cannot fast because of a difficulty, and you know the level of that difficulty, and I'm not the judge of your difficulty, unless I'm a medical physician who can give you some advice. But you are the judge of your difficulty. If you think it's difficult for you, you can feed a needy person. But it is better for you if you do fast. And the ulama say you can feed a needy person, or you can feed a needy person and make it up later. There are a number of combinations, and depending upon how you grew up and what fiqh you learned, all of those answers are appropriate and reasonable. But let us focus on the sequence of ayats. Allah tells us that it is an opportunity for you to increase your taqwa, to increase your closeness and your humbleness and your submission to Allah. Then He gives us this detail. This is ayah 184. And then Allah continues, sort of giving us deeper insight about the specialness of this month. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. Again, see the sequence. It is very amazing if you reflect on this. Allah begins this ayah 185 with another deep insight. It was in the month of Ramadan that the Quran was revealed as guidance for mankind. Clear messages giving guidance and distinguishing between right and wrong. This is essential. This is essential. That this Quran is revealed to distinguish right from wrong. And so it creates an obligation on us to really study it and own this text. Own this text. It is not for scholars, it's for you, it's for me. Yes, we need scholars to navigate this very rich language, right? The words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you need scholars' help, there's no problem. But you need to own this Quran. It is not for scholars, it's for you, it's for me. Access the scholars. Allah tells us, look, if you are stuck with something, ask those who know. That's what a scholar is. But the Quran is meant for you. It's meant for us. And so we need to own this. And of course, this is the month of the Quran because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in this month. So if any of you who is present that month should fast, and any who is ill or on a journey should make up for the lost days by fasting on other days later. Allah wants ease for you, not hardship. He wants you to complete the prescribed period and to glorify Him for having guided you so that you may be thankful. That is, Allah is giving us additional insight here, that He wants us to thank Him for this guidance. Right? Well, you know, it's hard to be thankful when you don't appreciate what you have. Right? It's hard to be thankful for something that you don't have a good appreciation for. If you take it for granted, then you can't be thankful for and to the one who gave you that gift. But to appreciate the gift of guidance, to appreciate the Quran, you have to own it. And so our ulama and the Prophet they called it, and we call it the month of the Quran. Because this is the month in which it was first revealed. It is the month in which we engage with it. But it is a month we also need to re-own the Quran. You own the Quran. The Quran is in your heart, bits and pieces of it. You say Surah Al-Fatiha 17 times a day. Right? 17 times a day you're reading Surah Al-Fatiha. If you do your minimum Salāt al-Fara'id, you're saying it 17 times a day. You're saying a portion, an essential portion of the Quran 17 times a day. So it's part of you. But is it part of our DNA? Is it part of utterly influencing everything that we do? That answer may not be a yes, a resounding yes. But this is the opportunity yearly to make it a resounding yes. That yeah, the Quran is completely manages my attitudes, my actions, my words, my thoughts, my deeds, even my sins. Even my sins. That when I commit a sin, the Quran says, come back to Allah. Come back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing that happens in our lives, the Quran doesn't influence, provided we understand what is that influence. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala completely changes the tone in the next ayah. And He tells you a secret. وإذا سألك وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. Allah inserts this ayah in the middle of the sequence of Ramadan because this is the secret. This is the secret of Ramadan. He's instructing the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He tells him to tell his followers, if my servant asks you about me, I'm here. I respond to those who call me, so let them respond to me and believe in me so that they may be guided. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. This, my brothers and sisters, this is the secret of Ramadan. Okay, and Allah inserts this secret in Ayah 186 in between instructions on how we should behave and what we should expect in Ramadan. But the secret is this. That is, Allah is always near to us, and that if we want to reach to Him, we only need to call to Him. فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I answer the call of the one who asks me. So let them ask me. This is Allah telling the Prophet to tell his followers, to tell you and to tell you. This is the secret of Ramadan. Allah inserts it right in between the technical details of how to fast and who should skip fasting and who can get ease, but this is the secret. So if you want to know the secret, this is what I think is the secret. That Allah is revealing to you that He's always near you and He will always answer you, but you need to ask Him. We need to ask Him. When you ask Him, He responds. And He guarantees that response. But you see, that He guarantees to the one who asks with a clear heart, with no doubts, with no shak, with no conditions, with no preconditions, and full of expectation of Allah's response. Full of it. You should expect everything that you ask from Allah, and that He will give it to you. And He will give it to you. And we know our ulama teach us that the dua of a believer, the one who believes, the dua of a believer is always answered. It's either answered exactly as she asks for it, exactly as she asks for it, or it is used to deflect a test that Allah has planned for you, and Allah will deflect that test for you. And it's of His choosing. That's the second way Allah answers your dua. And then the third way is that He will neither answer it as you asked for it, or deflect a test that He has scheduled for you, but He will keep that dua for you as an ajr in the akhirah. And I think all of us, when we face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will wish at that time He answered none of our dua and kept every one of them as ajr for us in that. But may Allah grant you all of your dua exactly as you ask for it, and grant you the ajr for it as well in the akhirah, because that is another part of the secret of Ramadan. Is another part of the secret of Ramadan. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. The secret of Ramadan is to connect to Allah and to recognize that He responds to the call of the one who calls it. And this is granted to the believers. And Allah grants this unconditionally to everyone, in any case. But in particular in Ramadan, He grants this special treatment to the believers. So this is yours. This is yours to start in a week from today. On Saturday, following tomorrow. This is yours, and you will have this for a whole month. So ask him without restraint, as much as you like. Don't restrain what you're asking. Allah loves the one who asks unconditionally, with full belief that he will or she will get what they're asking. And Allah said, and the Prophet ﷺ said, anyone who fasts Ramadan with belief and with awareness of the reward for doing it is forgiven all his previous wrong actions. What a gift. What a gift. Don't lose this gift. He gives it in many different ways, but Ramadan is a special gift. Allah says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. For anyone who feared the meeting with his Lord and restrained himself from base desires, paradise will be his home. This is the outcome of Ramadan that you want. You restrain your desires to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah gives you paradise. It's as simple as that. It's as simple and as elemental and as easy as that. But you need to restrain yourself. That restraint is what we do all the time. But particularly in Ramadan, this is the intense restraint. You give up your eating and drinking and all. And the Prophet ﷺ warned us. He warned us to be careful about not giving up eating and drinking and failing to restrain ourselves in other places, in the way we talk, in the way we behave. Right? And alhamdulillah, fasting in general, you can speak to your friends who are physicians, it engenders a calmness and it slows you down. Naturally, when you don't have food, it slows you down. But that slowness gives us the opportunity to be more reflective and to be more focused on how we behave with each other. And for the one who isn't focused, because we can violate this, right? I mean, we have seen this. You can fast all day and then go to town at night and destroy all the benefits, the physical benefits of fasting. Okay, and we have seen, unfortunately, a lack of restraint at the end of that same day of restraint, where particularly in communal gatherings, so much food is taken and not eaten and wasted and goes into the dumpster. Be careful of that kind of waste. Anytime, but in Ramadan particularly, all your good deeds get enhanced and all your sins additionally get enhanced and multiplied. So be very careful of not forgetting to continue that restraint that starts from dawn to dusk, but it doesn't end at dusk. It continues that level of restraint that this month is the month of intensive training. So let us keep that in mind. For anyone who feared the meeting with his Lord and restrained himself from base desires, paradise will be home. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's guarantee. And the Prophet ﷺ said, O people, a great and blessed month has come to you, a month in which there is a night which is better than 1,000 months, a month in which Allah has made it obligatory to fast, and in which He has made standing in prayer during the night a voluntary action. Anyone who draws near to Allah during it by means of voluntary good action is like someone who performs one of the obligatory actions outside it. And performing an obligatory action during it is equivalent to performing 70 obligatory actions at any other time. It is the month of Sabr, and the reward for Sabr is Jannah. It is the month of generous giving, and the month in which a believer's provision is increased. If someone gives fasting person something with which to break their fast, that will bring him forgiveness for his wrong actions and remove him from the fire. And he will have the same reward as the one who feeds without that diminishing their reward in any way. This is also a month in which, this is what the Prophet told us, again, a great gift, a multiplier of gifts from Allah that the Prophet announced for us. This is also a month, if you are used to it as a practice, give your zakah in this month. Zakah is obligatory. Give your zakah in the month of Ramadan. And if you put your cycle of giving zakah in the month of Ramadan, you essentially multiply the giving of Zakat is a reward in itself. The giving of zakat in the month of Ramadan simply enhances it even further. And then the Prophet ﷺ told us, every good action of the son of Adam is multiplied by 10 to 700 times. Every good action. That is, you never get rewarded one for an action. Always minimum 10 to 700. This is the Prophet ﷺ telling us. Except fasting. Except fasting. Allah says, except fasting, it is mine, and I repay it myself. The faster abandons his food and drink for my sake. The faster has two delights. Delight when he breaks his fast, and delight when he meets his Lord. When Allah says He gives reward for fasting, I repay it myself, it's unlimited. There is no upper limit to the reward of fasting in the month of Ramadan. And this is Allah's statement to us in the Hadith Qudsi. This is the Prophet's statement to us through a Hadith Qudsi. That Allah revealed to him, that He rewards fasting, and it's in the month of Ramadan, without measure. So recognize this thing. Who gives you anything without measure? Your father, your mother, your children? All our relationships are conditional. But not the relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is without restraint. His forgiveness, His generosity, His reward is without restraint for the act of fasting in the month of Ramadan. So we are blessed, and may Allah give us the tawfiq and the life to reach this year's Ramadan, and to complete this year's Ramadan. May Allah give all of you that tawfiq. Okay? Because He could take one of us before we hit the Ramadan. And finally, recognize that Ramadan is not special because of the fasting. Ramadan is not special because we fasted it. We fast in it because Ramadan is special. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, think of Ramadan as a time at a place which are all constrained, that opens to a place where there is no time, and a place that we have not been to, but which is our destination, Jannah. It is an opening to Allah's presence. That's why Ramadan is. Allah chose Ramadan. And then He asked us to fast in it. So recognize your fasting is not what makes it special. It is special because Allah declared it to be special. And we fast by the command of Allah to take advantage of this very special time. It is a time when a window and a door opens, and that window and that door, that's Laylatul Qadr. That is Laylatul Qadr. And for those of you who are science fiction freaks, for the young ones amongst you and the old ones, you want to travel through black holes in time, this is Ramadan. And this is the night of Qadr. That we have the capacity to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that is not possible at any other time in the year. This is that special, and I want you to recognize how special Ramadan is, to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Allah cleanses our sins. That's why the shayateen are chained. It's because of the specialty of and the specialness of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us to fully take advantage of this month. May Allah give us the tawfiq to take every second of this month and take full benefit of it. May Allah accept your fasting, your qiyam, your siyam, your tahajjud. May Allah guide you to get connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recognize the secret that He's closer to you than your jugular vein. That He will answer every dua that you ask Him. At any time, but in Ramadan in particular. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واقم الصلاة.